Okay. Very good afternoon. I welcome to the participant of this course. Hello. Hello. There are some issues, I guess. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. So can you restart it? Okay. A very good afternoon. I welcome registered participants of this course to this live session. And this is the last session of this course, Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied. In this live session, those who have joined, I request them to post your question in the chat box. You also can directly interact with me if you have any doubts. I'm sure that by this time you have completed several modules of this course and you have gone through the theoretical discussion together with a few numerical problems. Those I have solved in the class. I request you all to raise your question in this session to enable me to take those questions for further discussion. The course Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied is an important core course to the undergraduate students specializing in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, chemical engineering, power engineering, and aerospace engineering. In this course, I have discussed an important module wherein basic thermodynamics and laws of thermodynamics, which are very important to understand the performance of several thermal systems, have been discussed. Thereafter, we have discussed many modules starting from steam power engineering, then internal combustion engine module, gas turbine module, and finally the refrigeration cycle. In the steam power unit or steam power module, if you try to recall, there are several essential components like boiler, turbine, condenser, and pump. So in this course, we have discussed about those, including their basic thermodynamic cycle, which is used to represent the processes in several thermodynamic planes. We have discussed this aspect. Then we have tried to quantify the thermal efficiency. Then also we have discussed about the hardware of boiler, that is several parts or components. Those constitute together to form a complete boiler for its operation. Then we have discussed about turbine. Again, we have tried to discuss the flow cycles, that is the steam flow cycle, blading arrangement. Thereafter, we have tried to quantify the diagram efficiency or blading efficiency. Then we have discussed about the necessity of having an important element, that is the condenser. Then their constructional feature. We have also tried to solve a few numerical problems just to illustrate the theoretical part or conceptual part that we have discussed for each module. Participants attending this session, please raise your question so that we can start our interactive session. In addition to this live session, there is a discussion forum. Perhaps you had raised many questions. Teaching assistants of this course, they have tried to address those questions. If you have any further questions, doubts to be discussed in today's session, please feel free to raise your question. Either you can post your question in the chat box, or you can directly raise your question in this forum to enable me to take these questions for further discussion. As I mentioned, this course, Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied, is an important core course to the undergraduate students of almost all engineering disciplines. And in this course, starting from the basic understanding of thermodynamics, which is very, very important to understand the applied thermodynamical components, have been discussed. And thereafter, we have discussed several applied thermal engineering systems. Those are used in practical life, starting from generation of electricity from the thermal power plant, automobile, wherein we need to develop work. Then we have discussed about again some strategies to generate power output from the or using the gas turbine cycle. We have discussed that gas turbine cycles are frequently used in aerospace or aeronautical fields. Still, there are a few process plants wherein captive power plants are there, and instead of steam power cycle, those units are based on or designed based on the gas power cycle. Then we have also discussed about refrigeration system, considering its substantial practical application in our daily life. I request students, those who have joined this session today, to raise your question so that we can start our discussion. You know very well that the session is limited to 1 hour only. So please feel free to post your question in the chat box so that we can discuss those questions now. Students, learners of this course, those who have joined this session, I would like to ask you all to post your question in the chat box to be discussed in today's session. In this course, Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied, several important modules have been discussed. For each and every module, I have tried to solve a few numerical problems just to make you understand the application of theoretical paradigm to estimate performance, efficiency. Also, we have tried to discuss, or rather we have discussed several important design guidelines to be followed by the designers of any component participants, students are requested to post your question in the chat box. This is an important core course to the undergraduate students of several engineering disciplines. As such, graduating students who will be interested in joining automobile sectors, power sectors, to them, this course will provide a platform to understand several intricacies, several information, and considering all these, I have tried to discuss starting from basic understanding of thermodynamics to the application of thermodynamics laws or thermodynamic laws to the processes. Those are there in several components of thermal engineering systems. I request all the students, participants of this course, those who have joined this session, to post your question in the chat box. You know very well that the session is limited to only 1 hour, and you need to either post your question in the chat box or you can directly interact with me. I didn't receive even a single question until now. I would like to wait another 5 minutes. If I do not receive any question from the students, participants, then I would like to wrap up the session for today. You know very well that this is the last live session for this course, and I'm pretty sure that you have completed several modules by this time, and certainly you have doubts or you have some questions to be discussed in this session. You know, these sessions are essentially kept or arranged to help the students or learner so that they can have a session wherein they can directly interact with the instructors despite regular discussion forum, that is weekly discussion forum. I request the students to post your question now only. As I said that this is an important course. In this course, I have tried to discuss the basic thermodynamics, then the theoretical aspects of several engineering system. Thereafter, we have solved a few numerical problems just to illustrate the conceptual part of each and every module. As I said you, steam power module has been discussed, and pertaining to this module, there are several important components. Considering their operation and considering their key role, I have discussed about the hardware of all these components, their constructional features, processes occur through those components, and their thermodynamical analysis using several thermodynamic planes just to estimate thermal efficiency. Then we have discussed about another important component, that is turbine, blading arrangement, and also the velocity triangles. Having proper understanding on the drawing of velocity triangles is very important for the calculation of efficiency as well as to the designers, turbine designers. We have also discussed an important module, that is the condenser. I have discussed the need of having a condenser in the steam power unit, and then the key role of condenser, including the hardware, have been discussed in this module. Thereafter, we have discussed about internal combustion engine module, wherein we have discussed several aspects starting from engine classification to basic cycles. I have briefly touched upon the combustion and several or different types of fuels used, engine cooling system, and engine lubrication system. I have solved a few numerical problems on this module just to give you outline to tackle any problem from this particular topic. Then we have discussed about gas turbine unit. Solving a few numerical problems, I have tried to illustrate again the conceptual part of this particular unit. Processes, those occur through gas turbine. And then I have discussed about refrigeration unit. Since to have a proper grip on these systems, understanding of basic thermodynamics is very much important. In the very first module of this course, I have tried to recapitulate basic thermodynamics, that is the description of processes in several planes, laws of thermodynamics, and application of those laws to the real process. I request all the students, participants, those who have joined this session, please feel free to post your question in the chat box. Since I didn't receive even a single question until now, I shall be waiting for another 1 minute. And if I do not receive any question, I would like to wrap up the session for today.
Sir, good afternoon.
As I mentioned, this is an important core course.
Sir, good afternoon.
Students, yes.
Sir, actually, I am Binoy. Sir, how to prepare for semester exam?
Semester exam, I would suggest you, perhaps you have completed a few modules by this time. Yes, so, sir. If I know correctly, the semester exam, I think it is objective types, and there will be a few numerical problems, I hope. And I can tell you, just you go through the lectures, certainly you must have a reference book or textbook, and just exactly try to, practice numerical problems, and whatever theoretical part or theoretical discussions is there in the lecture or several lectures, just try to follow them, and based on your understanding, solve a few numerical problems. I hope it would be good enough. And certainly you have to, it is not a case that you can skip any particular module or you can give more focus on any particular module. So you have to go through each and every module, and without understanding the, theoretical part, please don't try to solve a few numerical problems mechanically. So my suggestion would be to understand or to have a grip on the theoretical part. You know very well that basically applied thermal engineering cannot be learned without basic thermodynamics or without understanding of basic thermodynamics. So my suggestion would be, I have tried my best, though it was not the basic thermodynamics course, so I didn't get enough time. But still, my suggestion would be to know several processes, and if you need to map all those processes in several thermodynamic planes. For example, pressure temperature plane, specific volume temperature plane, all these planes. And thereafter, you must know, the application of laws, whether you'll be applying only first law, whether you'll be applying only second law, or you'll be applying the combined first and second laws. And thereafter, you also need to know whether you'll be applying the law or combined laws considering a steady state, steady flow process, or the process would be uniform state, uniform flow. So all these things you must understand first, and then you solve a few numerical problems. I think it would be good enough for your semester examination. So as I can see, there is no more question in this session, and had there been any question by this time, I would have discussed. Again, I would like to tell you all that this is an important course, because this course has been designed in such a way that it will help you to understand, or the course will provide you a platform to understand several, aspects of different engineering systems. The components present in the system, processes in those systems, rather processes occur through each and individual component, and all these processes constitute together to form a cycle. Thereafter, to calculate the thermal efficiency of each and every component, and from there you can also quantify thermal efficiency of the unit or system altogether. So all these aspects have been discussed. This will help you even if you plan to go for automobile industry or process industries after your graduation. So as of now, since there is no more question, and as I said you many times that today's session is the last session. So I would like to wrap up the session for today. I wish you all the best for the semester exam. And you know very well that the semester exam or performance, those who will be appearing for the exam, to them I can tell final grading not only will depend based on your end semester examination performance, but also your grades that you have already obtained or acquired from weekly practice session, that is week assignment. So with this, I would like to wish you all again, and I would like to wrap up this session for today. Thank you.